And tell me, anything productive coming out of that meeting? Because as you know, with lots of those meetings, lots of talking, you actually need some action.
Yes, well, we certainly anticipate that there will be some positive action coming out of it. One of the reasons is being the establishment of a task team, and also the fact that this task team is going to have very close linkages with NEDLAC, because the process needs to go through NEDLAC.
Who's going to be on that task team? Who's going to be the representatives on that?
There are some of the top officials who are active in the BUSA structures who will be on that particular task team.
Now, any of your members, anybody at SACCI?
As far as we know, we haven't yet had anybody to nominate on that structure. We anticipate that what BUSA will do would be to ask us if we have anybody who would be suitable to serve on that structure.
Now, they're talking about 5 million jobs by 2020. I was reading in the weekend papers that some people estimate you would need to create 500,000 businesses in order to create those 5 million jobs. And I'm sure many of those small and medium-sized businesses, the very sort of businesses that you represent.
That is correct. And we've always said that we cannot expect the large corporates to be in the forefront of job creation. They have got other priorities, and that by far the majority of jobs are going to be generated in the small and medium-sized enterprises. And obviously when you have to an entrepreneurial spirit, that is where we're going to find a large number being produced.
Now, BUSA President Futhi Mtoba outlaid some of the impediments to job creation in the country. What do you see as the main impediments? Because we have labour legislation that's being talked about, we have an unfriendly investment environment in many instances, or a changing investment environment, and also question marks over the security of tenure and land tenure. What are the big impediments that you think are standing in the way?
Well, part of the discussions that have been in the media recently is this debate on nationalisation, and that of course is linked to the unwillingness of internationals to invest in South Africa. So we see that government action in the private sector is a no-no in most of the instances. We believe that government's position must be that they will provide the enabling environment for businesses to grow and for businesses to be established. We believe that what needs to be done is that red tape has to be cut, and obviously the labour legislation is a serious concern to us, particularly the proposals that have come through in the 4 new bills which are under discussion at the moment.
I mean, some would argue that government is providing a disabling environment at this stage. Do you think that's too strong?
I don't think so. In certain instances we would agree with that, particularly as far as placing impediments in the way of employing people and continuing to employ people. That is really where we feel that there is too much interference.
You talked about foreign investments into South Africa. Do we need that foreign investment if we're going to create those jobs? Can we do it alone without foreign investment?
You know, we live in a global village, and it is important that we do have global linkages, and therefore foreign investment is important in South Africa, and we need to have that foreign investment which must help us to be globally competitive. It's very difficult for us to be competitive on our own.
Are we globally competitive at this stage with labour legislation as it stands?
Generally, yes. We seem to be growing our export initiatives, but any further restrictions are certainly likely to cap those.
Peggy, how about Labour's part in all this? Is Labour going to be part of these discussions? Because I'm sure if government and business come up with agreements without the part of Labour, there is going to be a problem.
There will be a big problem if Labour is not involved. The state president is having a similar meeting with Labour during April, and thereafter we believe that there will be some structure which will bring Labour, business and government together. And we mustn't forget that the discussion is in NEDLAC already, where those counterparts are already in the initial stages of discussion.
Well, you mentioned some of businesses' concerns with the government and with policy at this stage. How about government's concerns with business? Because we do see company profits improving. We are coming through this recovery. Businesses are still not hiring. Is there a concern on government's part that businesses are being too cautious?
I believe there is, that government thinks that business could be doing a lot more. But I do also believe that there has been a change in the way in which government has been looking at the whole issue of job creation. If we go back a couple of years, there was a very strong view that government had to play a major role. There has been a shift, and government now recognises that business has to play a major role, and that government has got a different role to play. In other words, to make it more friendly towards business and to make it easier for business to engage people.
So 5 million jobs by 2020, is it possible?
It's going to be extremely difficult. But I think if we all pull together and if we have a look at it in terms of what is good for our country and put South Africa first, then I do believe that we will achieve it.